Hey everybody, how's it going? And welcome to Daily's 2A News. Today we're going to talk about an interesting topic. We're going to talk about zombies and what zombies actually are to people in the 2A community. Now, one of the reasons that I'm making this video today and on this topic is partially because of an article that I read in bearingarms.com. It's a very interesting article. I'll link it down below if you guys want to read it. But they were talking about a guy who is a former ATF agent. He also was in the early stages of Moms Man Action and Everytown for Gun Safety. He worked with Bloomberg, so we know what camp he's in. He's definitely an anti-gunner, right? But in that article, he was giving an interview to another website, and in that interview, he was saying one of the reasons that firearm sales might be so high right now due to the pandemic is because people are worried about zombies. And when I read that, it just really made me think of all the different comments that I've seen from the anti-gun crowd, or the anti-Second Amendment crowd, about zombies and about people who are Second Amendment supporters, and how this is actually what we believe. And there's no metaphorical aspect to it at all. It's simply, we believe there's going to be a zombie outbreak, and that's the end of the story. That sort of like delegitimizes us, right? So they look at that as something that qualifies us as being over the top or out of control or something. Now, I got to say, for sure, there are people out there who definitely believe in an actual real zombie outbreak, and that's why they have firearms. There are people like that out there. But people who use zombies as a metaphorical term, what exactly are they meaning? Now, let me start off the second part of this video by saying, in a metaphorical sense, yes, zombies are real. But they're not what you see on The Walking Dead, which is where a lot of anti-gunners get their information. They get their information from movies and from TV, and they believe it to be true. So when they see The Walking Dead and they hear one of us mention the term zombie, that's what they think that we're talking about. Even with a lot of their, thoughts about what firearms are, they get it from the movies. They get it from TV because they don't have any experience with it themselves. So when they see a guy in Predator and he's got a M16 with 30-round magazine in it and he's holding down that trigger for 10 minutes, they think that that's actually real, not knowing that if you have something that's full auto and a 30-round magazine, it's going to be gone in seconds if you hold down the trigger. That's reality versus the movies. But they see that in the movies, they believe that to be reality, and so they just go ahead and run with it, and they think, how can somebody like that actually have something where you can just simply hold down the trigger and mow down hordes of people? It's not how it actually works, okay? So stop getting your information from the movies, get your information from real life, and you'd be surprised to see the difference. Nonetheless, when we talk about a metaphorical zombie, what we're talking about is in the case of a societal collapse, okay, which is not really outside the realm of possibility. If you take a look through history, societal collapses of major societies have happened all around the world since the beginning of time. Major societies have collapsed and people have been spread out because of them, and they've been left with essentially nothing. And so when we say zombie, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about some type of societal collapse. Maybe the economy crashes. Maybe something happens with the government. Maybe there's a pandemic. Maybe there's something out there that would cause something to happen that would be so bad that people wouldn't have any money anymore, that they wouldn't have the supplies that they need anymore. And so you have these large cities that are all over the country, and they're really highly packed. I mean, densely populated. People are just stacked on top of each other, and supplies and things run out really fast. I mean, how fast did we run out of toilet paper? It's just a matter of days, right? Toilet paper and hand sanitizer was gone. And so you end up with, let's say, a larger version of that where people aren't able to get food anymore, and you'll be surprised how fast people are going to start leaving the cities. And if truckers aren't trucking and, they're not delivering fuel, there's not going to be fuel for vehicles. It's a cascade effect. It's a domino effect. And so when people don't have supplies in the big cities, what do? They start heading out. And where are they going to head out? They're going to head out to the nearest population. They're going to head out to the suburbs, and they're going to start heading out there in droves. And so you're going to have people that are walking because their vehicles don't have fuel anymore, and you're going to see droves of people walking that need supplies. And I guarantee you that in a time like that, people will do absolutely anything to feed their families, to feed their children, even if it involves some type of violence against somebody that they come across in the suburbs or in whatever area that they tend to spread out into. And so when you see these people that are walking down the street aimlessly, looking for supplies in order to survive, that's what we're referring to as a zombie. That is the metaphorical sense of a zombie. They're not, The Walking Dead. They're just people in need and willing to do anything to get the things that they need in order to take care of their family. So a lot of us, when we say the term zombie, that's really what we're referring to. We're referring to the people who don't have and didn't prepare. There's a lot of us out there who have been prepared. We have food, water, medical supplies. We have the actual essentials. I don't think that toilet paper is an essential. It's a luxury item at best when it comes to surviving. But still, when it comes to the essentials, we have the essentials. You got your rice and beans, you got your proteins, you have your, all your multivitamins and things that you have stored away, non-perishable foods, canned foods, long shelves lives, you got your Spam, all that stuff, you have it. And that's because you've taken the time to prepare for the instance that something could happen. It's like putting on your seatbelt when you get into a car. You're not expecting to get into a crash or thinking that you're definitely going to crash when you leave the house, but you put it on just in case. There's some people who go their whole lives and never even get into a small fender bender, but you put that seatbelt on every single time just in case, right? That's kind of like what prepping is to a lot of people. It's a seatbelt. It's a cushion, a comfort zone, knowing that if something like that were to happen, which again is not outside the realm of possibility, they'd be ready for it. And so when people leave the big cities and they start heading out and they find something like your house, which is a gold mine, and it would be a gold mine, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to want it. And so when we see any type of large group of people who have been impacted by some type of social or economic collapse or downfall of any kind, then, just some type of even lack of law enforcement or lack of control, would be a reason to get that people would start coming out and start looking for things. So that's what we mean when we say zombie. It's a metaphorical term to pertain to those types of people. So anyway, I know this video is kind of dragging on, and I think I'm kind of preaching to the choir here, but I see that mentioned so many times again to sort of disqualify us, to make us look like we're nuts or make us look like we're crazy because we think that something like The Walking Dead is going to happen, and because of a pandemic that we see this as the moment where we're actually going to be able to live out some type of crazy fantasy or something. And again, like I said, there's definitely those people out there, and I think there's those people out there that even secretly in their head they would like something like that to happen, but in reality we all know what it really means in that metaphorical term, which is just people in need and willing to take it by whatever means necessary. So I hope this kind of clears things up for those people that weren't really sure what we were talking about when we referred to it as zombies, and also a little bit of entertainment too. Anyway, I want to thank you all very much for watching. Please like, subscribe. Have a great day.